Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad you look like you're doing good. And I will just hop on about a minute before your time is done, just so you know that that's my cue.
Okay.
And take it away. I'm excited to hear about self-care for the digital age because I think we all need it right now.
For sure. For sure. Thank you. All right, everybody. So my name is Angie, and I am going to share with you some really cool tips on how to get into your everyday life, even if you're not stuck at a desk or a computer all day. However, I think since this pandemic has hit, a lot more people are working from home, and a lot more people are working longer hours from home because you don't have a commute anymore and you're kind of stuck. We get stuck at our desks and we forget that maybe 4 or 5 hours have gone by and we haven't gotten up to move. And then when we try to get up and move, we're in a lot of pain. So I'm here to kind of help you hopefully combat some of that and give you just a couple of little things that you can do. You certainly don't have to do all of the things that I'm going to show and demonstrate for you today, but maybe pick a couple of them that feel like they would be fun and you could incorporate them easily. So the biggest thing I want to talk about first is the fact that when you do sit at a desk and you are stuck there all day, it actually takes your body and puts it in a place for more injury. And the reason being is because we get stuck in certain positions. Think about your arms when you're typing. Your shoulders start to round forward. And so it's actually pulling your shoulder blades on the back of your body, kind of pulling them forward on the body where we want them to be on the back of the body, which helps our posture. It helps us fight the negative effects of gravity and, just keeps us upright. So as we get older, we're not shrinking. So being in these stuck positions can cause us to be more prone to getting injuries as we get older. So this is why these little tips are so important. The research says that for every 30 minutes that you are sitting, you should get up and move for 5 minutes. So think about that. Write that down. For every 30 minutes that you are stuck in a seated position at your desk or at your computer, you need 5 minutes of some sort of mobility, motion, walking. It could be very simple. So some people set an alarm on their phone. If you have a watch, an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, you can set little alarms and reminders to tell you like, it's time to get up, it's time to move. They'll vibrate very quietly, not disturb anybody around you. But it is important that you start to create some really good habits within your day. And it's not easy because you do get stuck in projects or you get stuck on the phone. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can do in those cases too. So first of all, the biggest thing that I want to impress on you is your breathing. And if you're not finding yourself stopping and taking some deep breaths during the day, then we got to start there. So deep diaphragmatic breathing, which means belly breathing. We typically breathe in our culture very much in our chest. Whereas we breathe, we see our chest rise and fall. We're only using a very small portion of our lungs when we breathe that way. We're missing all the rest of our lungs in our body. So breathing from your belly, and when you inhale, you want the belly to actually grow. We don't want to suck it in. We want to push it out, right? Nobody can see you. You're at a desk, so it doesn't matter. So you want to inhale and expand. Feel your rib cage expand. I like to feel all 4 directions of my rib cage. So expansion in the front, expansion in the back, and on both sides of my rib cage. I want to feel everything expand and then relax and contract. If you can do that and feel that expansion, that belly button pushes away, then you know you're getting a deep diaphragmatic breath. So just for a moment, take a minute, inhale, exhale. When you exhale, that's when the belly relaxes. That's when the lungs, kind of come back into the body and recoil. We don't want that pulling in during the inhale. We want to inhale and expand and exhale and contract. So taking a few moments to take some nice, deep cleansing breaths. Even breathing in towards your low back and into the hips. If you put your mind to where the breath is, then you'll feel the breath in those areas. I know it might sound crazy, but you kind of want to be in your body in those places and feel that expansion. That will allow more oxygen to flow through the body, increasing your circulation. And we've heard today that circulation is really important to your muscles and to muscle tension. It helps to relieve it. So we want oxygen as much as possible. So deep breathing in. When you do this, I want you to sit on the edge of your chair. So I'm going to move back and I'm going to adjust my camera so you can see me. So I want you to be out on the edge of your chair, and as you're breathing, you're expanding the belly and relaxing. And then there's a second part to this. You can very easily from your chair in your office or where you're sitting now at your computer, back away so you have some space and just hang all the way down. Just hang down. I'm going to come back up so you can see me, but I want you to just hang forward for a moment and just let all your muscles relax. Let your arms relax, let your head, your neck, your chest, your shoulders, let everything hang and breathe. Now practice that same diaphragmatic breathing. I know it might sound hard because you feel like you're in a collapsed position. So really work on the sides of the ribs and the back of the rib cage, inhaling and exhaling. And if you can stay there between 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds, that's a good amount of time just to let that relax. If you want to stay for a whole minute and you got the time to do that, for sure, go for it, but at least 30 seconds. So that's the breathing aspect. The second thing that I want to talk about is sitting again on the edge of the chair and doing a nice chair stretch. So what you're going to do is take one leg, you're going to cross it up over the opposite knee. So now I'm kind of sitting in a almost like a figure 4 position. And from here, I want you to keep your chest up and then just lean forward slightly. You may not have to even go that far. This is a deep hip stretch. If you deal with low back pain, anything that deals with sciatic, if you've been diagnosed with sciatica, piriformis syndrome, you've been told that you have really tight hips, this is the perfect stretch that you want to do. And you don't need any equipment. Just cross your ankle to your opposite knee and lean forward. Now, some of you might be able to go really far forward, and that's perfect. Some people might feel it with just the knee crossing. Perfect. Wherever you are is where you're at, right? That's our mindfulness. So be in this position. Focus on your breathing because stretching only works when you breathe, and then just relax. So take a couple deep breaths, feel that hip, and you may find that you can move forward just maybe an inch, maybe a half inch. Let your body relax into it. And then of course you're going to want to switch to the other side and stretch forward. If you are someone who crosses your legs a lot, this is a really important stretch. Most likely you probably cross the same leg every time you cross your legs. And what can happen over time is your hips end up becoming a little bit out of balance. So you get a little elevation. And when you're sitting then, you might even feel that one butt cheek is touching the chair more than the other. So I always check for some evenness there because we want to get that pelvis in a good position because that'll alleviate back pain. Cool. The next one is a chair squat. So in addition to you working out some of these muscles, breathing, stretching, relaxing, it's good to strengthen. So now we're going to get a little exercisey, right? So you want to know where your chair is. So you're at your desk and you're standing up. You're going to put your arms out and you're going to squat down till your butt touches the chair. You're not going to sit on it. You're going to squat down and tap the chair with your glutes and stand back up. So squat down, stand back up. I hope you're doing with this with me at home because I feel stupid if I'm the only one doing it. So squat down and back up. So chair squats. I would do between 10 and 20 reps of this. Maybe once every 2 hours. If you could do it once an hour, great. Stand up, you do 10 squats. Each hour of your day, you work 8 hours. That's 80 squats. So that's a good thing. So your legs and your low back will thank you for that strengthening. All right. The next one is we can't forget about our hands and our wrists because we're sitting here doing this all day. Now I don't have a desk in front of me to show you, so I'm going to move over here to where the wall is. So if this was the ledge of a desk, something that's really helpful to do is to turn your hands, palms upside down, and lean into your desk. And I don't want you to hold it. I want you to press the palms down and release. And I want to do this 20 times. Press and release. Press into the edge of your desk or into the wall and release. And so what this does is it takes these muscles on the opposite side that are being shortened, right? Because we're being this way when we type, and it's lengthening them. So it's bringing back some balance into your forearms, bringing back some mobility into your wrists and your hands. And then after you've done that 20 times, you can come in and nice and easy, stretch the other angle. So now my hands are down and I'm just pressing those into my wall, into the desk. And I would do that 10 to 20 times each side so that you are bringing, like I said, bringing that balance back in to the wrists and hands, opening up the mobility, wrist circles, opening and closing the hands, stretching the fingers back, opening up through the palms. All of those, all the bones are cracking. All of these things are so important if you are sitting and typing for so long. The next one is called the double chin. And I'm so sorry, but it's not very sexy sounding, but it is definitely necessary for our necks. So think about the position of your head, maybe even right now as you're sitting and watching. We start to get involved in what we're doing in front of us and we become this way. So the head comes forward, we get a good hunch in the back and the shoulders rotate forward. We need to start to learn how to have better posture when we're sitting there, or at least have the awareness of where our body is in space over time when we're stuck at our desk, right? So I want you just to take your head and your chin, and I want you to pull back and kind of make that double chin. It's not attractive, I know, but it's necessary because we're out here all the time. So I want you to pull your head back, tuck the chin in, and hold it maybe 3 to 5 seconds and release. Press and hold it. While you're doing this, it's important to think about the muscles in the back of your neck lengthening. Imagine them lengthening as your chin is pressing back. What I don't want you to do is lift your head way up or way down, just straight back. Do that a couple times, hold for a few seconds, and release. And that's just going to bring awareness to those muscles in the back of your neck so that you're not this way or this way for too long. All right. The trap stretch. The traps are these big muscles up here on top of our shoulders that get super tight. We tend to wear our shoulders as our earrings, and then we come in to get a massage and we don't have a neck anymore. So we want to open all this up. Greatest way to do it, sit on your hand. Good posture. You're seated on your hand, and then you're going to take your head to the opposite side. So the first thing I want you to do is just to take your ear to the opposite shoulder. So I'm sitting on my right hand and I am taking my left ear to the shoulder, and I'm going to hold this maybe 5 or 10 breaths. Maybe you start with 5. Now hold that. Then you're actually going to take your chin and turn it, bring it down towards your armpit. So I'm only angling it towards my armpit. I'm not actually trying to get it there. So hand underneath the hip, chin comes down, and now we're hitting a little bit more in the front of the neck. So hold that stretch, 5 to 10 breaths, ear to shoulder, 5 to 10 breaths, chin to armpit. And I would do that on both sides. And then finally, the doorway stretch. I don't have a good doorway right here to show you, but I do have a ledge. So I'm going to come into this ledge with my arm, and I'm going to lean in and open up through my pecs. The pecs get very, very tight. And unfortunately, we have a lot of nerves that run from our cervical spine, right, from our neck, through these pecs and then down through the arm, which can actually mimic feelings of carpal tunnel. Typically, it's not carpal tunnel. Typically, it's because there's some kind of entrapment going on up here in the chest. So hold this, lean in to this stretch. You'll feel that opening. And then I would turn around and I would do the other side. Start at 90 degrees, bring your arms up a little bit, maybe like 135-degree angle, and then bring them down and shorten up that angle. And then kind of play with that. Where do you feel it the most in those muscles? I also want to mention a folded or a rolled up towel. This is just a blanket. Sometimes people put these on their chairs, but they actually put them in the wrong spot. A lot of times we put them back here for our lumbar spine. I actually want you to think about putting it down where the seat meets the back of the chair. So when you sit down, you feel like you have a little bit more stability right at the base of your spine, more than creating more of a curve in your low back. So many times you end up with putting that rolled up towel or putting that support in the wrong place, and we're accentuating that lumbar curve where we don't want to do that. So think about moving that pillow or that towel. You might even have a support that fits on your chair. There's all kinds of things like that. So just think about moving it. The other thing, tools. This is a simple lacrosse ball. You may have a tennis ball. You might have a golf ball. Whatever you have laying around. I always keep one of these under my desk. And when I am stuck in a meeting or I am stuck on a very long Zoom call, I kick off my shoes, I put this down on the floor, and then I use my foot and I roll my foot around through the heel, through the arch. Sometimes I just plant my heel right on it and just hold it. And that long sustained compression releases a lot of tissue on the bottom of the foot that can get really, really tight, especially if you're wearing shoes that aren't the best for your posture. High heels, very narrow toes. We want to support our foot's health. And so rolling this foot around on this ball during that long meeting, you will feel the effects. You will stand up and your body sometimes will get some kind of spontaneous adjustments. You might feel a little crack. You might feel a little pop here or there. Those are free. Those are exciting to have. But you'll feel the difference in your posture and in your back if you take the time and really roll each foot, maybe 5 minutes a piece, 10 minutes a piece. Like if you're stuck on that long call, it doesn't really matter. You just throw that under your desk and go for it. We talked about foam rolling. These are great to have. If you are interested in knowing how to foam roll more, please reach out to me. I am happy to work with you on that. I do use these a lot with my clients that I see for massage, and I am happy to share the knowledge. So those are just some great suggestions. I think the biggest thing, if you go back to the beginning, is to remember to keep breathing. Set an alarm if you have to. Remember, every 30 minutes, your body needs 5 full minutes of movement, even if it's just a short little walk. So take time and park farther away from your building, go outside and walk around your block, whatever you have to do to keep that mobility, that's the most important part. So hopefully I've answered some questions. Maybe there's some questions that have come up. But we'll see if Kara is hanging out with us. There she is. Did you do the exercises? Oh, I can't hear you.
Yes.
Awesome.
I really like the put your hand under your hip. That is amazing. And of course, I'm thinking, yeah, I need to get up and walk around today, but I didn't get a chance to. So I love what you said about the rolled up blanket.
Yes.
Because that's something I think is amazing. I have this back hugger, and I have always had it too high. So I moved it down, and it feels so much better.
Yay.
That was a really good technique. So I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Tell me what a body balance session would look like, because I know you offer massage, and if anyone's ever gotten worked on by Angie, sing her praises in the comments because she's amazing. But I mean, it's one of those things where we had either people could not see us or they don't feel safe coming out right now and they want to still benefit, get out of pain. You can do body balance sessions remotely, and I want you to explain what that is and what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So because of the times being so uncertain, it is hard. It's hard to get sessions right now. I know we're all kind of taking all the precautions we can to be safe and keep our clients safe. But with body balancing, it's a one-on-one session where I will meet with you over a Zoom platform. We will discuss kind of where your aches and pains are, maybe your past injuries, past surgeries, even things down to when you were a kid. It's hard to believe that, you know, falling off your bike as a child, breaking your arm as a child. I've heard people say, oh, when I was 4, I fell off a horse. In my teens, I had this car accident, and, you know, now I'm 50. That couldn't have anything to do with my pain, right? Well, it does. You know, even those things as a child, that your body will form to the way it is going to function based on any compensations that had to have been made when you had that injury. So you might not realize it, but it does. Our body is really layered. And for each year of our life and each maybe traumatic incident that we've been through, even if it's emotional, physical, it layers itself onto our body. And as we get older and older, we end up with kind of this history of trauma that has happened to us. And then that shows up as pain, and it shows up as discomfort. And when I talk with clients and when I have a session over Zoom for body balancing, we talk about all of that and what maybe you can do now, little simple things. Sometimes it's just awareness, like I said, of where your head is. And maybe it's just kind of pulling that chin back, lengthening the back of the neck, and just knowing that each hour you might have to check in. Where is my head? A great assessment is checking your rear view mirror. When you get in your car, are you constantly adjusting it? If you are, then that's telling you something about where your posture is throughout the day. Usually in the morning, we're good, we got energy. And by the afternoon, we get in the car and we're, you know, readjusting it down here because we're slouching. So we talk about those things in a session. I give you some ideas and some movement or some exercise that can help alleviate some of those issues. Also, I look at your posture, and maybe that's just you standing there and you're fully clothed, and I can see where there might be an elevation in a shoulder or a hip. And a lot of that goes back to then connecting the dots with what happened to you when you were younger. You fell off, you broke your arm, and now you hold this shoulder in, and now it's lower than the other one. You know, you never know. You never know how the body, like I said, compensates for trauma as you age. And so we go through that, and we can have obviously more than one meeting. I can work with you. We can do the exercises together over Zoom. I can give you more ideas on how to utilize self-care tools, balls and rollers, even yoga blocks, towels, straps. Typically, they're not even things you have to go out and buy. You're probably going to have some sort of prop in your house that we can utilize. I'm really flexible and pretty creative like that. So it can be great stuff. So it's kind of the thing you want to do in between massage. It's sort of the way to make the massage therapy effects last longer. And you'll probably find that you don't need massage as often, because you're finding ways on your own to check in on your own body awareness and your own body posture. So it's really empowering, and it's educational. That's what I think is great about it, is that I don't have secrets that I'm holding from clients. I want to share everything I have with you so that you feel empowered at home, that you feel that little twinge in your neck and you're like, oh, I remember what Angie said, I'm going to go do that, you know, mobility exercise. And oh, look, it's gone. Like, I feel great. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's really important to feel empowered as a client if you're trying to get out of pain, and we have so many tools to do that here at Firefly, because we don't want to stay shackled to your therapist or your chiropractor to always get you out of pain. I mean, sometimes if you have chronic issues, you were in a car accident, you may need to always have some maintenance ongoing. But in general, the goal is to use all the tools we have so that you don't have to keep going. And that saves you money, that saves your health in the long run. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And it might sound counterproductive to our business to say that we don't want to see you every week. But I really don't want to see my clients every week. I want them to be educated to know their own body. I don't think enough of us realize about our own bodies and what can make them feel better and what can make them feel worse. And that I think is huge, just helping people realize what's going on with themselves. So that's really what these sessions are about, is that education piece. We work through it together.
And I think this last year has been an amazing journey, if you're looking at the silver lining, to helping us to be in our bodies and notice our bodies. What type of rhythm do we want to have now that we had this forced slowdown? What is our bodies telling us that maybe we weren't listening to it with taking care of it? Eating, you know, the way we were sitting at a desk, especially when we had to work from home. So I feel like this is an entire year of refocusing on us, self-care, and how can we take care of ourselves. So we're gonna pull for your door prize. I'm gonna remind everyone what that is. And anything else as far as getting connected with you, Angie, sessions with you. I know you're booked out for a while, so I feel like if people want to see you, they need to start getting booked now for into December, maybe later. You might not even have openings till next year, like myself. So again, that's part of the reason why we want you to move on, right? We want to help other people, get you at a place where you're in maintenance, and then we can open up our schedule to help others. So could you briefly just share, if people want to work with you, what do you do and what the best way is to get a hold of you to do that?
Sure. I would say the best thing to do would be to call in Firefly or download our free app. You can see my schedule there and you can book yourself in. I am booking out quite a bit. I know I even have clients booking into February. I did just open up a day next week, though. I think it's Wednesday the 18th is open, so I have some spots available there. Typically what I do is with a structural integrative session, I do some viewing. Again, we talk about your health history, where your aches and pains are, and then I kind of play like a sleuth, you know, like I come in like a detective and I try to connect the dots between what you're telling me and what I'm seeing. Because I want to figure out not just why you have maybe pain in your shoulder. I want to figure out where is it coming from. Typically our pain is our symptom and it's not the root. So I don't treat symptoms. I try to get to the root of the situation and help you there. So a session obviously it's body work. It is myofascial release. It is pretty slow. And what I'm doing is really feeling the tissue and looking for areas where your tissue gets stuck, because our tissue can get very sticky and it will literally stick itself to itself in places where there has been trauma. And like I said, it's not just physical trauma. It can be emotional trauma that you've been through, and maybe that's put your shoulders in a different position, or your head or your neck. So I go in and look for those areas, and we try to kind of coax that tissue to let go and release. And that frees the tissue up and it gives it space so that your joints have more mobility. You have better range of motion, and typically it takes that pain away. So it might be something that's maybe all in your feet or your legs. And by working on that, it releases everything up in the hips and the low back pain goes away. That's a really common one that I see a lot. Stuff in the shoulders and neck sometimes can get stuck down in your arms and your hands. And with that, we release some of the tissue there, and all of a sudden the shoulder has space to drop and let go and be in the place where it wants to be. And the muscles can relax, and it takes that pain away that you might be feeling in your neck or up in your head. So it's really fascinating how connected the body is. And I'm amazed by it every time I work with a client of how one area affects the other. So call us, download the app, and book a session. And I would love to work with you.
Yeah, and I think that Wednesday will fill up. One of the reasons why we fill up so quickly here at Firefly is because all of our therapists are really anatomy based. So that's like if you've had a massage therapist that's like digging forever into your traps or somewhere that hurts. It doesn't ever go away, but it feels good temporarily. That therapist just hasn't done the training yet. Sometimes we don't learn that in our continuing education until like 6 years in our practice, and we go, wait a minute, there's a whole nother technique. Instead of going at where they feel the pain, to actually look around it and then address that, then it goes away back there. I didn't do any work there. So that's what Angie has worked with as far as our massage director. She manages our therapists, and our continuing education director. She really helps to get us trained to really understand that. And so if you want sessions with her, please get them quickly. They will book out. And if you're trying to book online and you're like, I don't see any openings, please know that our app will not let you book if it's less than 4 days ahead. So we have plenty of time to screen you for COVID. So if you're trying to get in tomorrow and like, I don't see any openings with any therapists, give us a call. So definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Angie.
Thank you.
Yes. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.